is just fantastic. Captain's Log, Subdates 211212.3. I honestly didn't know there were actual creators on Only Fupa that aren't thoughts and prawn stars. This doesn't feel right. I may have to conduct further research into this weird phenomenon. So what I thought we'd do today is revisit somebody we have discussed on this channel 3 times before. The first time on the 1st of January 2020, the second on the 17th of February 2020, and last time, the 25th of February 2020. We let things sit for a while, almost 2 years at this point. During that time, I was collecting a lot of sources, and I think now would be a good time to go through some of that, knowing fully well that when this does eventually go to trial, because it has to, when it does though, we get to go even deeper into this, knowing it will be a much longer video with a lot more information. I do believe the word comprehensive would be an apt descriptor for what will happen when this does go to trial. For a summary of what has happened so far, I'm not going to play clips from all 3 videos I've done, but only the first video and the third video. The second is important, but if anything it's a refresher explaining why I wanted to induct them into the halls of injustice. At the time though, we had very little to go on. The first provides the context for why Lori Vallow was even in the news to begin with. The third has an update that I find interesting. Now today I want to talk about a mother, one that is proving quite troubling and difficult to deal with. The mother's name is Lori Vallow. Now she has 2 children called Joshua Vallow and Tylee Ryan. These children have not been seen since September, and there are a number of issues about this. These children have been missing since September. The police and investigators believe that Lori Vallow knows either the location of the children or what has happened to them. This is at time of recording according to a press release that has been issued on Monday by the Rexburg police, with the release indicating that the police know the children are not with their mother and her husband. To further aid the police, Lori Vallow has decided not only to not work with law enforcement to find the children, but has decided to leave the state. In the press release, it said that it is astonishing that rather than work with law enforcement to help us locate her own children, Lori Vallow has decided to leave the state with her new husband. An attorney for that family has released a statement with East Idaho News saying that while he's in contact with Lori Vallow and her husband Chad Daybell, he does not have information about the children, with him saying Chad Daybell was a loving husband and has the support of his children in this matter. Lori Daybell is a devoted mother and resents assertions to the contrary, and we look forward to addressing the allegations once they have moved beyond speculation and rumor. To add more to this mystery, with the children being missing and obviously a top priority for investigators to locate, Lori Vallow married Daybell weeks after Daybell's wife was found deceased in her Fremont County home back in October. Initially, it was attributed to natural causes. However, on December 11th, authorities exhumed her remains and now think her death was suspicious, with Vallow's husband also passing away earlier this year. Naturally, they're going to draw a connection and conclusion from that. So now you know all of this, we should go back to when the children initially went missing and how it took so long before something happened. This all came about because the police conducted a welfare check on Joshua, who is Vallow's adopted son with her previous husband, and on November 26, after relatives raised concerns about not hearing from him, during the welfare check, Vallow and Daybell told investigators that Joshua was staying with family friends in Arizona. When police returned the next day to execute a search warrant because that was not adequate, I mean, we have the internet, come on, you could have done FaceTime. Daybell and Vallow fled the home. The investigators later determined that they did not take Joshua with them when they fled and that he was not staying at a friend's house. To add further confusion to all of this, we've only really spoken about Joshua. We've not referenced the other child, the 17-year-old daughter, Tylee Ryan. The reason for that is because the police have learned that Daybell and Lori Vallow were telling witnesses that Tylee had passed away a year before the death of her father, which investigators have concluded is not true. true, and Daybell continued to tell other witnesses that Lori Vallow had no minor children. Understandably, the authorities are now seeking that Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell come forward because they are making this worse for themselves. Now, the police have yet to file charges because they are focused on finding those two children, with their primary concern being simply to locate them and then make charging decisions in due course based upon available evidence, with them believing that the children are in harm at present time. If the children are found and any harm has come of them, if it happened in their jurisdiction, they will prosecute whoever caused that harm. And I want to add an additional detail that has the police worried. It is that Chad Daybell is the author of a series of books aimed at a Mormon audience that focuses on near-death experiences and doomsday themes, with himself and Lori Vallow being both contributors to an organization that dabbles in the very same themes. Last week, I did a Halls of Injustice video and the target was Lori Vallow, or Lori Daybell as she is remarried. During that video, I indicated a number of consequences that could happen because she failed to comply with a court order. This would lead, as I correctly predicted, to an escalation, and with that came a court appearance. With that comes a new picture. Gone is the smiling, happy-go-lucky doomsday cultist, and in his are those lips upside down? You know, I don't usually attack people based on appearance, but that is one bitter-looking person. Lori Vallow was arrested in Hawaii on Thursday, which comes months after her two children, Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow, were last seen. She is facing multiple charges, which include 2 felony counts of desertion and non-support of children. That is according to a criminal complaint that was filed with an Idaho court. It should be acknowledged, Lori Vallow has admitted that she asked a friend to lie to the police about the son's whereabouts. She is currently being held on a $5 million bail. Now, at present, Vallow's attorney is not giving back or giving out any statements on this, with court documents being released by Madison County Prosecutor's Office, which were obtained by KTVK, a CNN affiliate. The records detail how Joshua, JJ, was reported missing in November with the initial efforts of police to find him, and how police discovered that his older sister was also missing. The Cliff's Notes of this case are: the detectives in Rexburg, Idaho asked Lori about her son's whereabouts in November. She said they were staying in Arizona, which was later debunked, with Lori then being asked by detectives to prove that they were there, and she said they were seeing Frozen 2. Not a joke. A week later, a friend called the police saying that both Vallow and her husband had asked her to lie to the police after they had summarily run off. On Friday, Lori Vallow appeared in a Kauai State Court for an extradition hearing. Vallow's attorneys asked the court to lower her bail to $10,000. The judge kept it at the $5 million and ordered that if Vallow posted bail, she must surrender any passport that she possesses to the Kauai Police Department. Chad Daybell is not facing any charges, but he was present in the courtroom for the duration of this hearing. March the 2nd is when the extradition hearing takes place. Saying Chad Daybell was not facing any charges did not age well. On the 9th of June, remains were found on the property of Chad Daybell in Salem, Ohio. Chad Daybell was then arrested on Tuesday and charged with a felony count of construction or concealment of evidence. It took a few days, but the police were then able to confirm the remains found were that of JJ Vallow and Tylee Ryan, meaning the search was over, they had actually found them and they were deceased, in Chad Daybell's back garden. Chad Daybell's bail was set at $1 million. And just to throw this in here as a random thought, Chad Daybell's previous occupation would be gravedigger. That's not coincidental in the slightest, is it now? Now, how did the police find them? Well, it turns out it can actually be tied back to Lori Vallow's now deceased brother, the one she had used as claiming that the children were staying with him in Arizona. Location data from a phone belonging to Vallow's brother Alex Cox led investigators to this precise spot on the property where the bodies were found. Eventually, the desertion charges that Lori Vallow faced were dropped, but not all of them, and other charges were laid at her feet, which would include 2 counts of conspiring to destroy or alter evidence in addition to felony charges related to the children going missing. During hearings, evidence was presented including a number of phone calls, the more notable of which would be a phone call between Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell while the police were searching the property.
They're searching the property.
The house right now?
Yeah.
Were they in the house?
No, not the property. They're searching.
Chad Daybell then went on to plead not guilty to burying the two children's bodies. Chad Daybell's attorney then asked for the trial to be moved because he believed the jury will be, well, biased. Now, there were attempts made by the district attorney to try Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell together, but something, well, kinda went wrong. And this is where we get to the where are they now. Lori Vallow was eventually, after much wrangling, determined to be unfit to stand trial. And this came from a clinical psychologist. So Lori Vallow was committed to a mental health facility. Fun fact though, with all the information that's continuing to come out, prosecutors are still seeking the death penalty against Chad Daybell. At the same time, they are not overly fond of the idea of not trying them together. So in fact, they're going to try them together once Lori Vallow is declared fit to stand trial. So where are they now? Lori Vallow is in a mental institution. Chad Daybell is behind bars, where he will wait until Lori Vallow is cleared, so they can both stand trial for this absolutely heinous crime. For the sake of it, I'm not going to insert an opinion as this is ongoing. I am merely presenting it as where they are now, so when we do revisit this in the future, this will be the video I reference. But I will add everything else that is missing, although to be honest, it's a bigger picture. You don't need it right now, so that future video will be the nail in the coffin, much like Amos Yee's. With this, I do want to know what you all think, so please do let me know in the comments down below. I hope you'll have a great day, even with this miserable subject and these two miserable, disgusting, vile human beings. That might be an opinion. Oh well, thank you all very much for listening.